the cost of licensing content, whether it be video or stills, has gotten a lot lower in recent years. And it's made it easier for any company, whether it's a big company or small company or a side gig, you're doing it from your house. It's pretty easy to license content.
Welcome back to Content Logistics. I'm your host, Baylee Gunnell, and today we're diving into one of the most fascinating shifts happening in marketing right now, the intersection between authentic storytelling and AI. To help us unpack that, I'm joined by Stewart Cohen, an award-winning photographer, director, and the owner of Superstock, a boutique production company that's helped brands tell their stories through images and videos for decades. Stewart spent his career behind a camera, capturing authentic human stories for major brands, and now he's at the forefront of navigating how AI and visual technology are reshaping creativity. We'll talk about what real means in today's content and how marketers can build a visual identity that actually connects and why the best storytellers will still prevail. Let's get into it. Hey, Stewart. So glad to have you on the show today. Super excited for this.
Bailey, I'm thrilled to be here, and I wish my office looked as good as your office.
That means a lot coming from you with your background. I gotta say, though, I love the brick you've got. That is very fun.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we don't have a lot of that where I'm from, at least.
Well, this is it was the first loft conversion in Dallas, Texas. So way back. So I think it was an abandoned building. And this guy came in and redid it all. And it was still early days. So the neighborhood was kind of sketch. I will say. It kind of still is a little sketch. So.
Still a little bit, but at least you got a cool building out of it. Yeah. Where I'm at right now, I feel like it's just a lot of builder grade style stuff. So we got to add character. I got to add shelves and stuff. Or it's
they look good. And then you got your little string lights. It's cool.
Thanks.
Show somebody put some thought into it.
Yeah, gotta show my personality. I got lots of hidden things about my life if anyone wanted to.
Oh, do you? Oh, so there are little Easter eggs everywhere.
Yeah, little Easter eggs. You'll learn a lot about me if you try and read through the stuff.
Okay, now I want to just take a screen grab and zoom around.
Yeah. Could be embarrassing. Yeah. Well, I am so excited for today's conversation. We got to talk previously a little bit about your history, but I think this will be really insightful to the audience just to learn about visual storytelling and the experiences that you've had. I know you've been spending a lot of your career behind a camera, telling stories for major brands, and I'd love to hear just how has that storytelling changed in just the last decade?
Well, that's a big question to ask first up. I will say that storytelling in the last decade has become more authentic. I think less staged. I mean, people strive to see what's real. And I think technology has allowed us to do that a little bit because cameras have become more nimble and you could move cameras easier. And I think one big turning point also was COVID, where people were recording stuff on their phones. And I think people liked the authenticity and the realness of it. And I think that's kind of lingered on. But now we're trying to produce things that still look authentic. So that's the challenge,
Yeah. And you think even in the last few years, AI coming in, I think people really crave authenticity more than ever. That's my take.
It's interesting you say that. I mean, we haven't seen that backlash yet, but I feel it already. Like in just say our still photography, for a minute, like when we set up a shot, we do our best for it to be like perfect, right?
Yeah.
And then of course Photoshop comes in and then people say, oh, well, I could just remove that, or I could do that, or I'll move that, and da-da-da. And nearly to the point, like we just did a job a couple months ago and they retouch pictures beyond what's necessary, I think.
Oh, okay.
I thought the files looked great coming out of the camera, but then when they got done with retouching, honestly, it didn't look real to me. And I think what we're going to start to see, especially in the still world, is like, no, leave it. Let it look real, Like maybe, you know, their plate is not perfect on the table. Maybe there's some leftover food, or maybe there's a toy on the floor. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think it's going to help. Granted, I'm sure AI, you're going to be able to say something, you know, make the room a little messy. I mean, I'm sure that'll come too. But I do feel like people are going to strive for authenticity really quickly because I don't think the tsunami tidal wave of AI has really washed over us yet.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I know a couple years back I read this article about how some actors are keeping like crooked teeth or these just little imperfections that show they're
Yeah.
real. Like, it doesn't all need to be plastic surgery.
And I think Invisalign's doing okay though. You ever wonder, you look at actors, you look at their teeth, it's like, how come all their teeth are perfect?
Yep.
But you're
Yeah.
right. I think we're going to want to somehow believe that something is authentic. And now, I don't know about you, I'm starting to even like I watched a movie yesterday and I'm thinking, is that shot AI? Like just because I see some AI, I see so much of it now. And it's like, and a lot of times it's not, you know, but it's like,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to see movies that are made out of AI all the way through. I really do think that if the story is great, I don't think you're going to care. Like we watch animated movies and we don't care that they're
Yeah.
animated. I don't know, you know. I do believe story is king,
Yeah.
unless something's just hideous looking, but you know.
Yeah. We want things to look pretty still.
Yeah, yeah.
What does that mean for a company like yours where you're production driven and things are shifting?
I will use the word frightening,
Yeah.
and I'll use it with a smile. I've had a great career, and I've seen a lot of changes throughout my years doing this. And I do feel like I know we always say it's different this time. Maybe it's not different. You know, everything seemed bigger at the beginning, but I've been hammering into my head already ways to digest it and ways to use it and ways to go forward. And I think, yes, things will change. And I think the people that are, you know, 25 years old today starting their careers, they'll never know what was before.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'll just be the way it is. I think it's going to help us potentially, like on some difficult situations that we have to film. I mean, make it easier because we'll be able to use AI to fill in the blanks, so to speak. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be different.
Yeah. It's crazy all the stuff that's going on. I saw this really cool experiment that a video editor did where
Uh,
he filmed everything himself, he edited it all, and then he used AI to make a second comparison video, and they
oh,
both looked amazing. But
wow.
I think that I'll have to send it to you afterwards.
Yeah,
It was
please do.
really, really cool. But I think it goes back to that storytelling, like you were explaining. Like he is a master of his craft and he knew how to prompt engineer to get the shots that he wanted. That I
Right.
don't think just anybody going in there would be able to do the same thing that he was doing.
Right. And I think the prompt engineer thing is it's going to get easier. It really will. It'll just be your normal language. And there's already something, and I'm trying to remember the name of the app, but it's something like Prompt Hero or something
Yeah.
that helps you.
Hmm.
And then there's something that you could take a visual and you could throw it in to this app and it'll give you all the prompts. So if you want something to look like this, you know, you take a picture that you found, pop it in there, and it'll give you the prompts that'll get you close. I think the prompt engineer, it's early days with Photoshop. If you're a Photoshop expert,
Yeah.
yours is going to look better than anybody's. And I think as time goes on, of course, it's going to become easier and easier for everybody.
Yeah. Why do you think people are craving authenticity so much now? I know we talked about COVID, but what are your thoughts on that?
I just think people don't believe so much anymore, and it's just because we've been fed so much material and information from bots, and we get phone calls from bots, and I mean, we just got a phone call from a bot here at the studio saying they were coming to turn off the power, and
Oh,
I'm like, everything's paid, but then what do I do? Of course, I go to make
yeah.
sure everything's paid, and then I read something saying, yeah, they're trying to
Scam.
get your information. It's a
Yeah.
scam. So I think people want authenticity just because we are being fed a lot of fake, whether it's fake news, fake media, fake, you know, fake advertising. Like, what do we believe? So here's a good thing. in the advertising world, which is kind of where I live, how can I sell something to you, Bailey, and for you to think, oh, that's really cool. No, it's real. I believe it. Because there's a lot of stuff out there that's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I think people crave it because people just want to have a connection.
There's a lot of stuff out there that I think forces us to question and just be skeptical of
Yeah.
things. So having people's real faces and feel like they're filming it in their car or whatever you're doing to make it
Right.
feel less produced can help
Well, did you
connect.
see now, how you could do, like you could take a couple of pictures of yourself and put it into some headshot maker and it'll make an AI.
Yeah.
People are doing that and putting those on LinkedIn. And I read something from somebody on LinkedIn saying, no, you want to use your real pictures because that's just flat out lying. But I'm sure there are people that are flat out lying. And does it really matter? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think integrity, I think personal integrity is going to go a long way in the future. I think it always has. But I do think that, if we have a business relationship and there's integrity on both sides, we're going to maintain that relationship.
Yeah. That's interesting about the headshots. That's
Yeah,
a lot of people like doing those things. It can be a fun exercise. But if it looks like you, I don't know if it's really
I know.
misleading.
I know. I know. So I did see something that you could upload your photo and it makes it like, they have those illustrations in the Wall Street Journal of the authors,
Uh-huh.
so it's like a line drawing of you. And I thought that would be cool to do, but
Yeah.
I could never get the app to work properly. One day I'll try it.
Technology, man.
Yeah.
So, lots of chat about just where things have gone and how AI is changing things. But with all of those changes, people still need visual imagery or videos.
More and
Uh,
more.
More and more. Yeah. You need it for almost every type of advertising or marketing that you're trying to do. Where can people go to get this kind of content?
If you're looking to license content, there are plenty of options out there. We have a company called Superstock that we license content, videos and stills. It's like the Getty Images type thing, but smaller. And I think when you're looking at any of those sites, they now, at least currently, everybody identifies if something's AI, and you could look up the metadata to see if it's real and stuff like that. So I think that's important. And yeah, I think you could license stuff or you could still get stuff, content shot. And there are a lot of great outfits out there that are shooting original content. Of course, we're one of them, the Stewart Cohen Pictures. But there's cameras have made it that you could go out and shoot your own stuff and it looks authentic. You could use your phone. And some people were saying, well, if you use your phone, it seems more authentic, but it could be just as fake on your phone as it is on a big camera. So we still shoot on big cameras just because they're higher resolution and it could be used a lot of different ways. Obviously, when you're getting content created today, you probably want to make sure that you get it in the 16 by 9 as well as 9 by 16, which is the vertical format. So you could, what did they say now? Protect the scroll. You want it to use on TikTok and Instagram stories and YouTube shorts. So that's one thing to really be aware of if you're getting content made, to make sure you get it vertically and horizontally. And I think having a concept is a great idea. It usually helps. It really propels the idea further. Be prepared when you're going into a shoot with everything you want to accomplish, plus some things because sometimes things don't work. And depending on who's acting in your video, are they paid or is it not paid? But you want to be respectful of people's times too. So if something's not working, like we a lot of times, and that's where a good director comes in, and that's again what's over here. But it's our job as directors to make sure that the message is coming across authentically and in a truthful fashion and in a really visually pleasing fashion.
Yeah.
You're selling a product.
What advice do you have to people as they're trying to figure out what their visual identity is going to be before they're starting to put stuff on their website? How can they go through? Because there's so many directions they could go.
You are right. You are right. And granted, in the old days, companies would hire a branding agency just to come up with the look and feel, color palette, logo, so on and so forth. Today, I think you could create a lot. You could create a look and feel, a mood board on your own. I think Pinterest is a great solution to really start boards of maybe color palettes or visual identities that you like. Or, and granted, you have to talk about what your company or what your business does, and you have to have a good understanding of what's great about it and what makes you different, what makes you stand out. And yeah, and I think it's just, it has to come into your head. And I know a lot of companies rebrand regularly. And we had a big conversation this weekend about it, but with a bunch of people. And we were
Yeah.
talking about how these companies sometimes don't give it enough time between rebranding.
Yeah.
Because what we don't understand is it takes the public a long time to understand who a company is. And a business owner, of course, may brand their company and in 18 months say, oh, I'm sick of that, I'm going to change it. But quite
Yeah.
honestly, a lot of people may have never seen it yet. So you
Yeah.
need to really evolve your brand identity as opposed to have an evolution. I think evolution versus a revolution on your branding, and continually, it should be continually evolving depending on what's going on in your business and in your brain and what's going on in society. People react to different things. I know today, if you have AI in a title, people are going to
Yeah.
look at it, which I can't wait till that's gone.
It can be so confusing for customers though when they're like, "Wait, who is this company? I don't recognize who they are." And I'm not sure if that's quite as common with a lot of B2B companies, but it does happen and it can be really a jarring experience.
Well, I think it does happen. Actually, okay, so this morning at our company meeting, we were talking about, because I read about it in this weekend, the whole Cracker Barrel fiasco. And I don't know if you're up to date on that, but they wanted, their demographic was changing and they were tasked with changing it. And new CEO was tasked with making the changes, brought in all these agencies, branding agencies, and da 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 da. And they changed it. And of course, there was a big outcry against the new look. And one thing that was in this article is talking about how 35% of the people complaining about it were actually bots. So they
Oh
were
my
reacting to
goodness.
bots. I think bots reacted to something. And in the end, they reverted back to what they had been. And we were sitting around talking about it, and we're thinking, well, why did they revert back to it? That's what they wanted to get away from. And sometimes it just takes a minute to say, no, this is our new logo. It's cleaner. It's 2025. The last logo was made in 2000 or something. So it's interesting. It's interesting the voyages that companies go through.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, to your point, why you need to really know where you want to go and be okay sticking with one message. If you're going to tell a story, stick to your story.
Yeah. One of my like general just good rules of thumbs is a squint test. Like if you squint your eyes, can you tell that it's the same brand? So if you look at brands like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, they
Yeah,
have changed their logos so
right.
many times,
Yeah.
but it's relatively similar over the years.
That's really good point. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that. Oh, well. Yeah.
It's helpful, quick and easy.
Yeah, no,
Tell if you're
that's
going
a
too
great test.
crazy.
I got it. Name from Bailey.
So, how should a company determine what the next step is for their visual identity? Like if they should hire someone to come out maybe for a photo shoot, or if they can get the images they need through licensing, or should they go and use AI to try and create these things? Like what types of things should they pay attention to?
Well, those are all really good questions, and I think a little of all of it. If you want to mess around with AI, I mean, by all means, kind of go in there and start messing around, seeing if you could get what you have in your head onto paper. I'm a believer of Pinterest to kind of come up with a look and feel. Something, it's funny. I have a look and a feel that's always felt good to me. That early in my career, I worked with, I guess, a brand strategist. And thinking back, it hasn't changed much. I mean, what is it, visual style, or my visual
Identity.
identity, or what I love,
Yeah.
to
Oh,
see. It
yeah.
hasn't changed much. How we do it has changed. The details have changed regularly, but in the end, it's still, like say for me, everything I did, which is changing now again, it was all about people. We'd always film and photograph people, and it was always on location. because I really like being in somebody's environment or in a different environment. And we traveled a lot, so I like doing it in exotic locations, of course. But some of that is now changing today. And I just made a proposal for a client about, shooting on one of these. They're called a volume wall, like they did The Mandalorian on, which it's like you're shooting in on the location. It's a 270-degree plus the top, so it emits light. And you wouldn't know that
Wow.
you're not on the Brooklyn Bridge or in a cornfield in Kansas. And I mean,
Whoa.
and the first time I saw it, now this has been a couple of years, it's been out for a couple of years, but I felt this emptiness inside thinking, oh, I mean, my whole career has been about traveling and going to these places, finding these places that were magic, that were special. I still think there's going to be some of that. But I think for a lot of it, like say, if we had you for a day, we probably couldn't have you for 5 days because you're famous and your time is valuable. But so I could film you on one of these stages in 5 different countries, and we could do it in a day. Well, I
Wow.
mean, it makes sense, right? It totally makes sense for a commercial. It's like, oh, here's Baylee walking through London. There, I'm
Yeah.
in India today, and it looks real and it feels real. And I think the fact that it's not a green screen anymore, and that so what you're going to need is back plates. So, the backgrounds to be what you want them to be. And the challenge in doing it that way, I think, is yes, you could go back after the fact and change them, but for the most part, you need to decide it up front. Whereas, like when you were shooting something on a green screen, you were building the background after the fact. So there was a lot of work put in post production. This, you need to pre-visit because to think, I want you walking across the Brooklyn Bridge, I need to get either shoot that background plate to have it the way I like it with the right light, or I need to find it somewhere, maybe license it. And that way we could project it behind you. So when you're walking, it looks exactly like you're there. So we could match the light and that kind of thing. So it blends perfectly. And where it also, the one thing that I will feel great about is like, say we wanted to film somebody jumping off a building, whatever, at sunset. So to do it in real life, I mean, it's a big shot. You probably have one shot a night, because then the sun's gone. So
Yeah.
with this, it could be sunset for 10 hours. So that's good.
Wow.
That's a money saver. And for the film biz, I think it's going to save a lot of money. And a challenge to everybody listening, hey, watch any scene that you see tonight on TV or anywhere, wherever you're looking, of people talking in a car, driving. None of that's real. It hasn't been real for years. But I
Yeah.
mean, some of it is better than others. But sometimes you could tell, like if you're watching an old movie, how bad it is. They're actually in a studio and they're shaking the car and there's just a. But today, I mean, it looks real. But yeah, they're in a studio. It's just simplicity and speed and authenticity. Actually, it looks real. It looks great. So anyway, I do think the future holds some really amazing production tricks that will keep us entertained forever, for years to come.
That's amazing. That technology blows my mind.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Wow. So, for people who aren't familiar with licensing, what is that like? What should people look for when they're licensing? What are the costs involved? Things like that.
Oh boy, that's a whole can of worms. Okay, well, I'll keep it quick and top level. There are all sorts of licenses one could do. Say you were looking for a picture of a little girl walking her dog in the rain. You do your search, whether it's a Google search or you go on superstock.com or you go on gettyimages.com, and you find the options out there of a little girl walking in the rain, walking her dog in the rain. And so then you have your screen full of, say there's 5 to choose from, and they all have prices associated with them. And so there's a few different things. In the licensing world, there was something called RM, which is rights managed, which is historically a little more expensive. Or there's RF, meaning royalty free. The rights managed is you're buying that usage. So say you wanted it for a greeting card and you don't want anyone else to be able to use it. Well, you're paying for that. So you could pay the rights managed fee and nobody else could use it for what you're using it for X amount of time, however long you negotiate. That will be a little more expensive than if you buy a similar image, but it's royalty free. So if it's royalty free, that means it's just like you could use it for whatever you want, so could anybody else. So, your competitor down the street might find it also and choose to use it. And there'll be no, that is just the way it is. And when royalty free came out, which is, I don't know what year, 2010-ish, I think 2005, 10, people thought companies would care if other companies used the same picture. But it turned out that I don't know how much they really cared. And then the whole proliferation of, there's a lot of content out there now. Chances are it's pretty rare that somebody will pick the same photograph of, this
Yeah.
girl walking her dog. So rights managed versus royalty free, usually a little price difference. The one thing, if you are licensing something with a person in it, I would make sure that it had a valid model release with it, so that person cannot come back and sue you. Because you can't just go out on the street and photograph a little kid walking her dog and put it on an ad. Normally, it would have to be something produced, or at least something where the child's parents signed a model release, or anyone over 18 obviously signed their own model release. Model releases are important to make sure you have the rights to use it. And if you work with a company, whether it is a Getty or a Superstock or Shutterstock, they could help you through that. And we have account execs that could help you do your search, and that could help you with any questions like that. And then moving on from there, like, you could find pictures on things like Unsplash, which is a free site. So people just upload their pictures to Unsplash, but you don't know the provenance of them. So, like, if you wanted to use it for your book report for school, yeah, great. Nobody's going to say boo. But if you're using it for your company's website and you don't know if it was taken, you don't know if there's any legal rights behind the owner, you don't even know who owns the picture. So yeah, you probably want to stay away from that, because you don't want to have to deal with it downstream with lawyers. So I'm a believer of, it's kind of, make sure you have the right to use whatever you're going to use. And there are people out there, and we help. Anyone could, just by the way, anyone who has a question could always email me, which you'll share my info. But yeah, there's some nuances to it. And the truth is, I think the cost of licensing content, whether it be video or stills, has gotten a lot lower in recent years. And it's made it easier for any company, whether it's a big company or small company or a side gig, you're doing it from your house. It's pretty easy to license content.
Yeah.
And it saves you a lot of money, better than going out and shooting it.
Yeah. I'm always amazed when I hop on those sites. You can find almost anything you're looking for.
There is anything. And sometimes, like, if you can't find it, depending on how hard it is to source, you could call us and we'll shoot it for you. Believe in that. How about that?
Okay. We'll definitely add your info.
Unless it's like some crazy, request. So you never know.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, are there any common misconceptions that you hear from people about stock photography or licensed visuals?
Well, a lot of people think that they're free. And the truth is, you're using somebody's intellectual property in a business sense, for your company. So in that sense, you need to pay a fair license. Like I said, if you're going to use something in a book report or for a presentation, there are all sorts of subscriptions that every company has too, that you could just download anything, and for whatever cost, a minimal cost. And a lot of companies just have big appetites, because they might have, 30 people creating decks for meetings every day, and they just want, I'm going to get a subscription, I'm going to pay $50 a month, and my team could download whatever they want. And I think that's great too, because I do think I think visuals tell stories.
Yeah.
And I think visuals are great in decks. I think visuals, I'm obviously a very visual guy, but I kind of feel most people are okay seeing a nice picture next to a couple of bullet points, as opposed to a page full of text. Maybe I'm speaking maybe I'm incorrect, but at least in my world, I prefer that.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I like pictures in my blog posts. I like
Yeah.
infographics.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And say for blog posts, it's the same thing. I mean, I don't think the price per license need to be large. It does not need to be large at all. But, and it's great if you had a trusted supplier that you could just go download whatever you want to use for your blog posts. And now what's going on, and this is cool, and you kind of touched on this, but I'll just take it a little further. So say you have an image that you downloaded from a stock site, and you want to change it a little bit. So a lot of people are now adding a generative AI app into their platforms, which would be, so like say you want to extend the background or you want to make the sky have clouds or just whatever. So you're basically just adding some little touches to it, which makes it kind of yours a bit, add some your own personality. Or maybe you want to put your product in it. Maybe you want to put your little box of chocolates on the park bench. So it's generative AI. So it's additive generative AI. So you're allowed to change the visual and you still have the rights to use it and it becomes something branded for you. And I think
Wow.
right there, it's making it really easy. I think that's going to be really a game changer for people.
Is the licensing different for that?
No, it's not going to be different. And really what's great is it used to be like you'll find a picture, you're like, okay, I'm going to use this because it makes sense, it's close. But now with a few minor prompts, hopefully you'll be able to tweak these files to make them look more like you created them, put your own
Yeah.
personality in it.
Yeah.
So
And going back to what you said too about the scroll, is it on your phone or is it on a desktop computer? You can change the sizing to fit what
right,
device people are on.
that's true. And the scroll is real.
It is.
Yeah,
It is. That's really, really interesting. A great way to customize things there.
absolutely. It really is.
What are some things that people can keep an eye out for if they're using stock visuals to stay authentic with your brand? I think that idea you just shared of them customizing their images, but is there anything else they should look out for?
Well, I think big picture, maybe having a visual palette like that your company likes, whether it's a color palette. And I do think you could always find any photograph and you could put, like a filter on it, like you'd see in Instagram or something. But there are all sorts of filters. So, maybe everything has a little bit of a color tint, which would make it yours. Or, you want to be able to line them up next to each other and say, yeah, that's me. That's my brand.
Yeah, they all fit together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if you put it on a board or however it makes the most sense for you, it's nice to see them all telling a story together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really easy if you put them all next to each other. You're like, yeah, you know what? This one didn't work. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
And it should evolve. I mean, and your look and feel can evolve. And it would be really interesting to see a brand, who kept a board of everything they've done and tried to keep it similar. But it would be interesting to see like a slow evolution across a couple of years of whether it's the color palette changed or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
The pictures got bolder, who knows?
Yeah. It is, yeah, interesting to see how things change over time, like whether that's photos or people's style or, or whatever else.
Well, that's the one thing also, like when you're licensing pictures, look for style. Are these clothes dated? Is the picture look dated? Or maybe you want a picture that looks like it was shot in 1985,
Yeah.
And that's what's great because that's hard to I mean, that costs money to recreate, but and we own actually a couple of vintage archives, which date back more to the 40s and 50s, like black
Whoa.
and white, fun advertising stuff. But even now, the stuff in the 80s, think of those big old computer rooms or hairstyles or even clothing styles. It takes you could license it or you could create it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really fun to create pictures for a period piece, but it's costs a little more.
Yeah. Wow. That's so fun though for the businesses that need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you played around with any of these AI tools when it comes to video or
I have.
image creation?
I have, and it's nuts. I will tell you.
Yeah.
And it is a little early to address it because I can't spill the beans because there's a bunch of different apps and a bunch of
Yeah.
different AI models that are making it everything does something a little differently. So we're experimenting with that. Do we use the same one? Do we try to customize it? We're now trying to create they're called a Laura with just my style, like letting it learn
Wow.
off of my work. And then, of course, that's going to be a game changer, I think. And when that
Whoa.
happens, I'll let you know because for me, it'll be wow. You mean I can make a picture that looks like I went out and shot it in the
No way.
African, in the Serengeti, but I really didn't. Although I'd still prefer to be there. I still prefer to go out and do it. And I won't stop doing that. We are in the business, in the commercial business. So our job is to help customers, and like it or not, our job is to help customers in the most economical way to help
Yeah.
them. I'm still going to look for the people that are going to send me to crazy locations, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm going to help everybody else as well.
Yeah. It is crazy how many tools there are. Every quarter we have new goals and initiatives for tools we want to test out and just new processes. And one of mine this quarter was to find an AI video tool. And I had a really hard time with it because I was like, there's so many. And it's changing every week. So it's like one
Right.
that has to continuously be on our mind to keep an eye out for and see
They really
what's
are
working.
changing really rapidly and evolving for the better. Here's a thing to think about, and I think we talked about this last week. This technology has not even been out like we're dealing with it today. It has not even been 2 years. It was November, so it's like 23 months old. And remember, at first, everyone said, "Oh, that person has 6 fingers." Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, think how far it's come in 2 years. So it's going to continue to evolve and grow. And the big players today may not be the big players tomorrow. But I think as a user of the technology, you'll slowly come to find what tools work best for you. And as they evolve, you'll see new tools come out. And I think it'll become pretty organic for us. But I
Yeah.
do feel like we're going to have to all dedicate some time to learn. This is when it would be great to be 12 years old right now, where you could just be sitting in your basement, like just trying different things. And those kids will be in the workforce, what, in 10 years ish?
Yeah.
Well, we better be really good because what's coming up behind us, these kids they're going to be natives.
Yeah.
So I really feel like if all of us aren't very well versed in all the tools and the ways to use all the different AIs, I think we're going to get left behind. I've always been a believer of education, but I don't think education ever stops. And I think
Yeah.
if you stop today, especially, you're going to get left in the dirt.
Yeah. To be a kid right now, man.
Yeah.
Have so many cool tools to take advantage of. There's like so many young people starting businesses too or
Yeah.
becoming content creators doing so much cool stuff.
I think they're doing great stuff. It's different than what we did. I don't, I think we came from a great time also.
Yeah.
And I think everybody grows up in their own unique time and everyone excels at whatever was the thing when they were coming up.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to continue to learn and it's necessary, I think, to stay current in the business world for sure. You meet people that are not interested in continuing ed and they just slowly fade away
Yeah.
because they lose their edge.
Yeah, it's really hard. There's so many businesses go obsolete as time goes on.
Yeah. What do they say about small businesses? What is the average small business?
The
There's a
failure
crazy,
rate.
yeah, what's the failure rate? It's nuts. And part of it is like maybe they didn't do their homework, like, or maybe there's not the love, and that's a whole other conversation for a different podcast. But I really feel like, why I've done what I've done for so long is I really enjoy doing it. I really love it. And so it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make a quick buck in this business. And I think the people who go into business just to make a quick buck, when the going gets hard, what do you do? And maybe that's why they fail. I mean, is it failure or they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna try something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
just looked it up.
okay.
It's 80%. Oh, wait. 90% fail within the first few years.
No.
Yeah.
90%?
Yeah. That's a lot.
Crazy. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
That's really nuts, you know.
it is.
I could see it happening though. I could see how easy it would be to fail. And I mean, I think starting a business when you're young, at least I did, was good because it's not like I have any overhead. It was before marriage or family and stuff like that. So I could eat on, barely eat.
Yeah, rice
I
and
think it's
beans.
exactly. It's harder, I think, when if you were to leave a company and try to start your business without being properly funded. I have read that most of them are underfunded, and so you don't have enough runway. And that's important too, is because sometimes, like we were talking about with brand identity, sometimes it takes a minute for your brand identity to sink in. It might take 3 years for someone to say, "Hey, this is great. Where you been?" It's like, "I've been
Yeah.
here for 3 years." It's like, "Well, I didn't know."
Yeah.
When at least retail stores, you look at these crazy retail stores and you're like, what are you thinking? Because like there's certain
Yeah.
ones. I'm only going to make smoothies made out of vanilla beans. Like, okay. And on Fridays, it's like,
Yep.
okay, you're not going to be around long.
Yeah. I think it was Damon John from Shark Tank. He said it took me years to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
That's a great saying. And when I was out of school and I was working as a photo assistant, one of my mentors God, he had to be close to 40. And a big article came out about him, about like coming out of nowhere. And he said, I've been doing this for 15
Yeah.
years.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm on overnight sensation 15 years later. But it takes a while for people to notice,
Yeah.
and I do think in today's day and age, I think you can, if you're super, super unique, you could spread quicker just because of technology and the internet.
Yeah.
And I think back in the day, it was harder. But again, there are a lot of flashes in the pan today as well, because you could blow up and be gone like in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a different battle to stay
yeah,
relevant.
it is. And you got to hand it to anyone that stays in the cultural zeitgeist for whatever, if that sounds right,
Yeah.
because it's hard. And you think about, even think about movie stars. So say a movie star, they have a movie coming out, and for a minute you see them everywhere. Like they're on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, or they're in Vogue and with clothes, and they're Vanity Fair, and you see them everywhere, People magazine. And granted, those magazines are disappearing too. But anyway, you see them everywhere and they're on late night talk shows. And you're like, okay, enough. I've seen that, that star way too much lately.
Yeah.
But then they do go quiet because say they're in between projects. And it took me years to understand that you can't always be top of mind. It probably goes in waves, hopefully you're top of mind with your customers,
Yeah.
but it's hard to be the innovative wonder child every day. It's okay if you're not like cutting edge every day.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That is a lot of work. I think for a lot of businesses, especially B2B businesses,
Right.
that isn't always what affects your bottom line.
Right.
Like, but consistency will probably do a lot more than being the huge PR story of the month.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, yeah, but you got to keep a low roar.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I like that too.
Yeah. You could
I
use
like
that
that.
one.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'll keep that one.
All right. I do. Please do. Please do.
There was one thing you said on our pre-call too that I really loved is don't become a prompt engineer, become a storyteller who knows how to find the right visuals. And I'd love for you just to dig into that a little more.
That was good. Was that on our pre-call or was that today we talked about that? Didn't we talk about
I mean, I think it's come up a couple times. I just had to quote it because I loved it.
Well, that's great. And I
Yeah.
remember when I said that, I'm like, wow, that was pretty good. No. Back to how we got on it today is about authenticity.
Yeah.
So you want to tell stories using authentic moments, being authentic. And I think the AI and any bots will follow along. It's kind of like loving what you do, you know. If you love what you do and you have that vision and you're a storyteller, and even if you're not really a storyteller, learn to become a little bit of a
Yeah.
storyteller and try to tell the story about who your company is and how you got here and why you want this person's business. And I think that comes across as more genuine. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I know everybody's going to take whatever they write about who I am, why I'm here, all this stuff, and put it into some AI and try to get a tagline for their company. But just remember that you need to keep some humanity in it. And I
Yeah.
think that's where we're going to lose is if you start becoming, if people look at you like, oh, a bot wrote that, then you're done, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Then you're in trouble.
yeah.
And there's so many tools to accomplish what you need to do, but it does go back to that storytelling, like you were saying. And that's something I feel like it's been my mantra this year, just trying to become a better storyteller, and it will probably follow me throughout my whole life.
Well,
But
I think it's a hard
yeah.
thing to do. You know how, like, sometimes when you go to parties, there are people that can just tell stories
Yeah.
and they're just great. They have a group of people around them all the time and they're always telling some story. And you're like, wow, man, that person's a storyteller. And sometimes it's a delivery. Sometimes when you're say if I'm telling you a story, I might like rush through it. Oh my God, it was really cold. And then we're here and then we're there and then I got a flat tire or whatever. And sometimes these storytellers, they speak a little slower and they embellish things and they add adjectives. It was a very dark, cold night, and it was snowy. I think the stories are good. And I think we're all very imaginative.
Hmm.
And I think everybody, you need to look around and see what's really there and take it all in. I mean, we rush through life really fast. We rush through events, we rush through family events, we rush through. I think stopping and smelling the roses, wherever that term came from, is a good one.
Yeah.
And just try to take it all in and being cognizant. And if something's great, say, wow, this was great.
Love it. We do need to stop and smell the roses. Life goes so fast.
Yeah.
You can't slow it down.
No, but it's a fun ride.
It is. And yeah, learn that's my goal, is to tell better stories about life as it goes on.
All right. I'm going to hold you to it.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah.
We're getting close to time.
Okay.
So I've got one last fun question for you. And then if there's any other tips or just advice you want to share with the audience, we'll give you a minute for that. But
Sure.
my fun question is, what is your biggest content marketing ick? Something that really bothers you when you see it out in the wild.
Wow. Ick. That's a new one.
It's trending.
Oh, it is? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
I think I learned it from my niece.
It's good, though. It's good. Content marketing ick. I would say just obviously just bad, inauthentic AI put together bots that
Yeah.
are selling stuff. I mean, they're really just, I mean, they need to go away.
Yeah.
So,
Where are you seeing that the most?
well, on my death scrolls,
Yeah.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
on TikTok. It's funny, my YouTube shorts, I don't really scroll those. Do you scroll those?
No.
No, me neither. I see them when
Yeah.
I'm on, not, I mean, I'm sorry, my YouTube shorts. I don't
Mhm.
scroll.
Yeah.
Instagram, I scroll, yeah. Because usually I only see YouTube shorts when I'm on YouTube. So you have to click them. But I forgot how we got there. The ick is, yeah, keep it
The
real.
AI selling
I
stuff.
gotta tell you, there's so many imaginative people and there's so much great stuff out there. And I don't know where it comes from, but there's some really great stuff. There are plenty of stories to go around.
Yeah. Yep. So many good creative things.
Absolutely.
Any other tips or advice you have?
Yeah. Tips for content marketing, I would just say do it a lot, shoot a lot, work with great people, hire great vendors and suppliers, and don't stop. And it's an investment and it's actually kind of fun. It's really fun to see where you end up. And I think unless you try stuff, you're never going to know if it works or not. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in throw a lot against the wall, see what sticks.
Yep.
And it's okay. It's fun. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an investment in your company. And sometimes I get asked like, what's the ROI on this? But I'm like, it's table stakes. Like,
Yeah,
you can't have a business without a visual identity.
that's true. And not everything has a direct ROI to it.
Yeah,
I know it's supposed to, but it's, yeah,
not always. You
yeah,
can't put a
no,
price on trust.
no,
Can't
you're
put a
right.
price on your authority, what
Yeah,
people think about you.
absolutely. You're totally correct.
Well, where is the best place for people to find you?
Okay, love that question. You can find me anywhere. Well, easily. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, Stewart Cohen. Instagram, SC Pictures. If you want to license anything, superstock.com, and we'll happily help you find whatever you're looking for. Or, of course, email. You could always just email me, Stewart, with an EW, STEWART, Stewart@stewartcohen.com.
Perfect. That'll all be in the show notes too, so people can easily click on it. But thank you so much for joining today. I learned a lot, pulled a lot of one-liners I'm going to steal now.
Good. It was great. Are you kidding? I had a great time. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Content Logistics. Make sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss the next episode. Bye!